And I think as parents, and especially as a father, you exhaust it. You give, and as much as you're giving your children, I think you should give yourself the best because they're watching. Become everything you can become, especially when you think it. The universe is speaking to you to be your best.
What's up, world? It's your boy, Big Court, on the Holdin Court Podcast for another exciting episode, man. What's up with your producer, Ken?
Man, Mix, you know I'm a sports fan, so it's a good day for me.
And you know I don't watch sports. You know,
Absolutely.
I don't keep up with sports, but obviously I know who this gentleman is, man. You know, we got the big homie in the building, man. I appreciate him for coming. We got the 11-year NBA veteran, the lefty. You know what I'm saying? You got the podcast. What is it? Dad's Point of View.
Yeah,
Dad's Point of View, man. Yeah. We got the OG, Cuttino Mobley. But what Fat Joe call you? Cat Daddy.
Cat Daddy.
What's up with you, bro?
Man, just hanging, just chilling, just coming from my son's practice.
Okay.
Yeah, he did really well today.
Okay.
A lot of off the dribble shots from deep. So yeah, he's improving big time.
Nice. Yeah. How old is he?
He's 13. He turned 13 on Sunday.
Okay.
So he looks 16.
Man, happy birthday, nephew. Hey, so that's your youngest?
Yeah, my youngest boy.
Okay.
The princess, she's 9.
Okay. What's your oldest?
He's 22.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
all
Tino.
Right. Okay,
so,
nice.
Yeah, firstborn, then my baby boy, and then my first girl.
Oh, okay. How you faring with that first girl?
Putty. She's the best, man. She's taught me so much throughout life. Already on it, my own spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Then when you have a daughter, I guess they teach you what love really means.
Mm-hmm.
Unconditional love, right? Because your mother loves you, right? And hopefully fortunate enough, that people are blessed to have mothers that love them.
For sure. Yeah.
But sometimes that's not the case. But when you have a daughter, just her looking at you from a baby all the way up and always depending on you to protect her in all types of ways, even from her own self.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Especially, yes. Because I got grown daughters.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter's 30 and my youngest daughter is about to be 18.
So you had kids when you was 10, huh?
Nah, yeah, I was young as shit. I was young, bro. Yeah. Me and my daughter grew up together. Okay. Let's just say that. Okay. But I had her when I was 16.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, man, it goes fast too. But that relationship, it evolves.
Yes.
It evolves. You know what I'm saying? Because they daddy's little girls, but at some point they grow to women. Yeah. You know what I mean? And having to navigate that whole thing. And we're so used to our voice being the dominating voice in their lives.
Yeah.
At some point, it ain't you.
Oh, no.
It's some other dude.
I know. Oh, gosh.
So prepare for that. You know what I mean? Prepare. But then I'm going to tell you an interesting dynamic with that. At some point, though, as they get, I guess, acclimated to that womanhood, it comes back. Right. Your voice comes back full circle. Because now it comes, Daddy, hey, listen. What should I do with this situation with my guy? You know what I mean? Right, so it comes back full circle.
Yeah, I don't want to think about it in that, because I know it's coming. But just showering with love and just trying to be there as much as possible and helping her maintain and understand her boundaries and how to manage her emotions. Right. Me not being a woman or a little girl, and the only thing I was a little boy into a man.
Right.
Just try to teach my boys. How to conduct themselves emotionally. Yeah. Because we can kind of deter as just, boys becoming men. Yeah. Right. And our emotions are bottled up because a lot of us growing up was raised more so by the woman.
Yeah. For
and
sure.
we have female tendencies opposed to being raised by a strong man. And I was blessed to have, 4 parents and 2 fathers. Right. And so for me, I've always been, what I would love to think that I've always had that, good head on my shoulder. Yeah. Kind of just poised about things. Not so much nonchalant, but I was just telling my son that earlier today in practice. There was a lot of this and there was a lot of body language and there's a lot of that. And it's like, that's okay, but everything doesn't need a response. Right. And trying to help my daughter, in those situations also. Yeah, that's, so when she gets older, teenage, girls is the mean girls in school.
Yeah,
and it's
for sure.
The guys that she want to date and they break her heart or it's another. It's like understanding your emotions, and sometimes you just need to sit with it, understand it, and go forward.
That's interesting that you said that with the female tendencies, because I said that years ago. Like hindsight, we understand that because most of me and my peers, we grew up single family homes, and I grew up as the only child with my mom.
Oh wow!
And so when me and some of my homeboys fell out, you know, as you go through, you fall out, you don't know, you know, you don't understand conflict resolution because your ego, your posturing, you know, because that's all we know.
Yeah.
And I remember when we got older and when we would talk about, man, remember when we fell out and got mad and I was 18, 19?
Right.
And I said, bro, you know what the issue was? Is we was all acting like bitches. We didn't have that male thing to where we could come and say, check this out, homie. You know, you hurt my feelings when you said whoop-de-whoop-de-woo and work through it. You know what I'm saying? We get catty, you know, getting your feelings. Oh, man, I ain't fucking with that dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
that's
little
funny.
girly.
Yeah, girly.
It's really girly. It's really girly.
So at some point you mature past that, you know.
At
least you hope that you do. You know what I mean? Some don't.
No,
you know?
some don't. Some don't. Some don't reflect. You know, they deflect. And you know, my best friends, and we rarely argue throughout our life. And then we did. They said something to me that's like, yo, get your shit together or whatever it is, and vice versa. And we left it just like that.
Exactly.
And we stayed. We've been friends since we were babies, all of us.
Yeah.
There's about 4 of us, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it's very important for us, just where Dad's point of view comes from, but just as men in general.
Yes.
Being able to have that voice for our children and for our, you know, younger men.
Absolutely, for sure. Ken, what was you gonna say, brother?
No, when he was talking about, you know, the 9-year-old and the mean girls and everything, we were just having this conversation in my kids' school because my son is 9, and there's a shift like at 9, like where they start to have some self-awareness. And I know I said I had done something that had hurt my son's feelings that I didn't know about. And it was the first time where I was like, oh shit, because he had just transferred to a new school, and somebody had asked like, how's he doing? I was like, oh, it was a bad day. You know, he was crying. Because he's been my baby for so long. That, like, that was embarrassing to him because he had heard it off to the side. Where he was like, that's my business. Like, I don't want other people. And so there's a shift and, like, a self-awareness growing at this age. It's kind of, like, interesting where you have to sit. And I try to be a very present father. So I had to sit down and be like, all right, that was wrong. I shouldn't have put your business out there like that. And I apologize, and we'll, like, I'll make sure that we keep that locked into the family. And
for sure.
But it's interesting, like the 9-year like shift for me with kids.
Because we didn't go through that. You got to understand this, you know,
I was
especially in the black community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm from North Philadelphia.
Right.
And then like was my mom and then my uncles and then my aunts and then my grandma and blah, blah, and it's all of that. And they would talk in the kitchen. And on Friday nights it was card games and everybody would come over. And if one of us did some shit, everybody in the neighborhood would know. Right. So there was no boundaries.
Right.
But then you start getting older, and even if you know in grade school or high school, and then even college, right? Let's start in just grade school and high school. You don't have boundaries. Your family's telling you what to do. Right? You have to listen.
For sure.
Then there's the police. Then it's everybody's teachers. You have to listen. So when are you going to have to be able to stick up for yourself in the right way? You don't even learn that. And I was telling my son this also yesterday. I said, when are you going to learn how to start becoming a man? You don't start when you're 25.
Right.
You start when you're little.
Right?
Because, you know, I don't just get 25, now I'm starting to pay bills, and now I'm starting to do this. Now you have to learn at a very young age how to become a real man, not a male, but a man. And we don't really learn those things. And even for females, right? Like to become women, you have to start at a young age, and your boundaries because we take boundaries from children.
Absolutely.
Right. So I like if it's something between me and him, that's between me and him. It's not between nobody else.
That's real.
Right.
That's real.
Just so I won't embarrass him. Now, if I want to teach him a lesson, now you know, those things. After that, if he tells me to keep something to I got you, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Because you have to be you have to balance being a safe place, you know. But let me ask you, being that we from the old school, because I think you're only a year older than me, right? So our parents, we didn't have an opinion. We couldn't have a voice or an opinion. You know what I mean? It was because I said so. There's no explanation.
No explanation.
That, you know, and so I raised my kids more so like that, but you try to give your kids what you feel like you didn't have, but it's hard to try to balance that because some kids will think you're being their friend. They'll think they're your equal, if you give them too much of a voice. Like, how do you manage that, or how did you manage that?
Yeah. So for me, I'm not my kid's friend. I don't believe that. It's actually some woman that was on, Michelle Obama was talking about that. And that's my cousin, actually, by the way. She was on, I think, some talk show, and she was like, yo, listen, to Kelly, talking to Kelly Rowland. And she was saying, shout out to Kelly, I love Kelly and Michelle, but she was saying, listen, that ain't your friend, right? And then Kelly was like, oh, okay, like kind of like they're going back and forth. But then it clicked over to this female, this woman that spoke about that, and she's like, no, I disagree, and blah, blah. I'm like, no, I agree with. You're not my friend. When you get older and you're out the house, we can become friends.
Exactly.
Right now, I'm working on myself to become my best version. I need you to become your best version. We are not catty, cuckoo like you with your friends out there. That's not how this conversation. We need this. This is a certain respect, right? So I respect you, but as my son or as my daughter, not as my friend. Not right now. That's not how that works.
Right.
And I don't think it can work like that. So,
but do you blur the line if you give them too much? You know what I mean? Opinion. If you give them too much, if it's like, okay, I want you to do this, but they give pushback. But no, Dad, I want to. Well, why? When you start the dialogue.
Well, yeah, we know because again too is, and that's a good question. But again too is, there's certain things you don't start teaching them that when they're 16, 17. It's too late. They form their own. So you start at a very young age. So there's accountability. Right? There's respect, right? Because I got to respect them too.
For sure.
Because they got to learn where's respect coming from.
Exactly.
Right?
What does it look like?
Yeah, what does it look like? So now, you clean your room and you get your good grades. Listen, I respect your privacy,
right?
Do that, but then I want that door open. Don't be closing that door. We doing X, Y, and Z.
No, hold on. Me and my wife was just talking about this.
Don't close the door.
What is it with black folks
don't close
and
the door.
Not wanting the
don't
kids
close
to
my
close
door.
the door? What
don't
is
close
that?
my door. I don't know what's going on. Don't close my door.
I think that's
close
everybody. I hate when my son be like, I'm going to shut this door.
Close the bathroom. Don't close. I ain't closing my door.
My wife was just talking about that.
Am I closing my door? If I'm not closing my door and I'm the adult, don't close your door.
Yeah, we feel like you ain't paying no bills. Like you ain't done nothing to get some privacy. You ain't earned it.
Go in the bathroom. Especially my daughter. Go in the bathroom. I don't do that. I don't. Oh, they get the privacy knocking on the door.
Ain't no privacy.
So you helping me pay these bills then, since you want that?
Yeah, we was just talking about that.
That's not going to happen in my house.
That's hilarious.
There's a level of self-respect too in what you're talking about. I did something really weird with my kids my mom had me at 15 and it was a single mother household too, young. And when I was a kid, it was running around like, go hug your aunt, go hug your dad. Like I didn't raise my kids like that. Like,
okay.
With my kids, it was like, well, no, I mean, he's still gonna be my son, but if he don't want to hug you, some random fucking relative that's in town, like, then don't hug him. That's your right. Like, my kids is like, I don't know him or I don't know them.
Right.
Like telling me, you know what I mean? So I would always be like,
yeah, because stripping you of your boundaries.
Yeah. And I think that it's important to give your children like a sense of identity. Like you can have that boundary. You don't know this motherfucker. Like,
right.
He's family. And I'm like, yeah, go hug your uncle fucking Chris. And it's like, I don't know Chris. Like, who's he?
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I do more so than when I speak to like schools or kids or trainers and coaches or whatever. I say, don't be so hard on, because he just turned 13. He's only been on earth for 13 years, right? And then for a certain amount of time, he was a little baby.
Right.
And then he was getting coddled. And then he was like trying to find himself in there at 9, 10, 11, 12. Then he's like, oh, wow, okay, the girls, okay, having fun, okay, cool. Let me get away from mom and I'm going to just do this for my dad and this, that, whatever, my mom and my dad and blah, blah. It's like finding their ways.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like, for me, I try to like be more active with what I say, right? Because I'm just saying it. I'd rather be able to
trying to demonstrate. Yeah.
So I'm doing things now. So if I'm going to hug a friend or respect another as a woman around, how you doing, ma'am? Right. Because now you're watching. So I used to always watch my dad. So me being almost 50, I say, to women that's my age or yes, ma'am. And I don't mean it like you're old. Right. I'm just doing my dad did. Yeah, my dad did this when he was younger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. all right, boss
and
man.
they'll call you on that too.
Right, yeah.
Women,
I ain't old. I don't mean it like
yeah.
that. It's just like a thing that being a nice person and being a gentle and understanding person, that's all I did. So
Ma'am's very outside of California too. That's very common, like Midwest and South. Like,
I was about to say that. I think I'm from Kansas City, from the Midwest, and you being from the East Coast, I think it's just
Tyronn Lue. Shout out to Lou.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think it's just I don't know, because I've said that too, and women would be like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't mean it like that."
No, yes, respect.
You know what I mean? Just respect. But you said something interesting. You said you had 4 parents. Right, but you were close with your stepfather though. You had a good relationship with your stepfather.
He's my oracle.
Really?
Yeah, he was my favorite.
Why was he so impactful in your life?
My dad's still alive. My stepfather passed away my rookie year in NBA.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, man. Listen, I think I'm an okay guy now, but I think I'd have been a lot better if he was still there, because it's not so much as giving me all the answers. But he helped me when I sat on the question, so I can have the right answer, or somewhat of, But again, too, if he was here, I probably wouldn't have my kids, and life would have been a little different because of the choices I've made or whatever. But I mean, the silver lining is you have your children and you've become wiser as an individual. But what he did was, it was a lot of encouragement. It was a lot of one-on-one. It was a lot of, I don't know if you saw Rocky.
Yep.
And he was running down the street in South Philly, and it was like the meat and the meat stores was on both sides.
Yep.
So we would go there every Sunday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And get all the meats and everything. So he would cook a big breakfast and a big dinner, and we would just talk about life. And I sit on the edge of his bed, and we watch from Godfather to Once Upon a Time in America to any gangster, because he was trying to show me how families are run. And just a lot, Jeopardy, sit there, and I don't even know the answers. He knew all the answers. Wow. Right.
So he was grooming you to be the patriarch.
Learn how to tie ties, and listen, polish my shoes. I got 3 pairs of shoes, polish those this weekend, and make sure these the shirts and pants is neat, and I give you money,
Yeah.
Just like a lot of like.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Some step parents can be indifferent.
I was so blessed with both of mine. My stepmother, she passed away in 2019.
Sorry.
Of lung cancer. Yeah, man. She was my baby. And she was the most beautiful thing. I mean, she was very amazing radio voice, kind of like soothing kind of thing, late night radio voice. And she was the sweetest thing, right? Yeah. She never got upset.
Wow.
She was always cool. Yeah. And I met her when I was 2, she was 3, she was 19.
Your stepmother?
So she didn't want to have kids because some things happened to her when she grew up.
Okay.
She wound up having 3.
Right.
My sister, my first sister, she passed away when she was a baby, and then my brother came along, Sahib, and then my sister came along, my baby sister came along, Lashana, who's 33 now. But she was. Listen, if my parents did anything, they picked the best people.
Wow.
To help raise me.
That's beautiful. Let me ask you something. Because coming from the mean streets of Philly, you know what I mean, especially in the 70s, 80s, me and you both, we came through the crack era as well. I'm assuming that strong family unit contributed to you not getting street poison. Like, what kept you from going left? You know what I mean? Going the other way.
Stepfather.
Okay.
Dad.
Was that a healthy fear or just no interest of even?
Well, they kept me busy.
Okay.
Mom kept me busy. My mom was the tyrant. She was always yelling. Step Bob, like, yo, cool out, chill out. Jesus Christ, I got him. Let me get him. That type of thing. I mean, I wasn't really doing much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But my mom was so fearful of me getting into the world that my dad was a 2-striker. Okay, my dad was a 2-striker. His brother was serving lifetime.
Damn.
My uncle, my brother, on my dad's side, who's 10 months older than me, is in jail to this day. He's serving 3 lifetimes.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that was that side of the family.
Okay, yeah.
And my dad's never drank or smoked in his life. He's never did drugs. My mom never drank or smoked in her life, never did drugs.
Oh, wow.
So it was more so fear.
Yeah.
And sometimes fear works.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to have a balance, and I think my stepfather was the balance.
Nice.
And my dad was the balance, right? Because if you have too much fear by a woman or by a man, then you know what I mean? Like your perspective of life is either I'm going to go against everything they did or I'm going to become who they are.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep,
So,
you're right.
yeah.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. So coming up in Philly, I mean, obviously, you know, Joe Frazier, you know what I'm saying? The boxing thing being a big thing, the Philly shoulder roll.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Did you ever want to get into that?
Yeah, that's what I started boxing. I started boxing
did?
at 6 years old. I was a boxer at 6.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad had me boxing.
Okay.
Then the football.
Okay.
And I picked up a basketball at 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's on that right track. He was a soccer and football, and he's boxing now. He actually started with his trainer soon.
So you southpaw.
Again. Yeah, southpaw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a southpaw.
You got squabbles?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I had to do that. You gonna get your ass whooped every day.
Did you had to fight a lot in Philly growing up?
You did. Yeah.
Okay.
You did. Because I don't believe in all that cyberbullying shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's to each his own. But you ain't gonna.
You're not
gonna cyberbully me and I cry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now listen, I see 6 brothers coming down the street. That's what I gotta fight.
Yeah.
If you cross that street or you walk past them, either way, they coming for you.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to worry about until you knock a couple of them out or whatever it is, and then that's when you go from there.
Yeah.
But just like teaching you certain survival mechanisms. That's just what it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of the beautiful part about growing up in the 80s and 90s, though, is that you could just fight. You just fight.
You're just rumbling.
Yeah.
You just rumbling. Get your ass whooped. Come back the next day. They're going to keep getting you until you
sadly,
respect
the
it.
gunplay into the late 80s, early 90s
it's
gets
because they
worse.
can't rumble.
Yeah. That was fear. That was, pride and all of that. Yeah. But, we come from the generation where, man, it's man shit. You man up, you knuckle up.
That's when men started going to jail and getting on crack. And who's raising you now? Grandma, auntie, mom, young moms. And before you know it, now it's like you want to cry before you want to rumble.
And the thing about it, what people don't understand, usually the people, the bully or the people that you fought with as a kid, y'all become friends.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
It's a respect and y'all become friends.
Yes, you
do. Anybody that I ever fought as a kid, we childhood friends.
You cool now.
You know what I mean? So they don't see that part of it. Like it's almost like you have bonds with those people. That's just kind of the rites of passage of growing up.
Yes, it is.
So but yeah, being in Philly. So I'm sure even though you had that you were raised on love, obviously, and you had a good family structure, but you still had to go outside and deal with the element.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see any, thing in the street in Philly that you was like, ooh, I need to make a way to get up out of here?
Everything.
What was the worst thing that that you could go back to that you think you saw? Like, damn, okay, I know I'm not going that way.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've saw dead bodies. I've saw people get their head blown off. Cats get shot, stabbed, knocked out, face hit the pavement like he was going to die. I had a gun in my mouth at 12 years old.
Really?
We were at a party. My grandmother lived on this side of the street, and the girl's house was on this side of the street. And I was in love with this girl too. She looked like Whitney Houston when we were younger. And
Whitney Houston was fine.
She had a dollar party, basement party. And everybody came. Everybody came. So I was just going across the street, right? I'm going across the street. So I guess something break out. I wasn't a part of it. Something break out inside because in Philadelphia it's basements. East Coast is basements.
For sure.
So something break out, a fight break out, whatever. Boom, everybody's outside. So we all scrabbling now. I don't even know why I'm fighting. Scrabbling. The cats leave. Whoever they were, leave. Because the couple of them got their ass whooped. Leave. They come back with older, bigger people, men, boys, whatever, teenagers. Now they come back with guns now.
Wow.
So now I run, hop over this it's like a little fence, hop over the fence and try to get to my grandmom's door. It's locked. So the person who started it all, he was always a troublemaker. I didn't really know him. So him and this other dude. So I guess they did something to the people that, were left and come back. So the guy turns me around, and now I have acid wash jeans on, okay? I have acid wash jeans on. I turn around, and he's like, yo, putting the gun in my, like right here, and he put it towards my mouth. And he's like, tell me where he went. I'll blow your effing head off, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I don't know where he went. I don't know where he went. So I'm scared to death. I'm like, I don't know where he went. I don't even know who he is. I promise. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. This, that, whatever, blah, blah. He's like, I should blow your shit open right now. Blah, he's saying that. And then he says, you're lucky, did something like you're lucky or something. And then he jumped back over the fence and took off down the street. my aunt comes to the front door, because we have my grandma's crib. So my aunt comes to the front door, and she's like, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" And she's, she all ran. My uncle downstairs, so my uncle, he more street.
Yeah.
He downstairs, what the fuck? He come up, what's what? He got his thing. What's up? What happened? What happened? You pissed on yourself? I'm like, I didn't even know.
Damn.
I had pissed on myself, bro.
Wow.
So that moment was a crazy moment. Like, yo, I need to
12.
stay 12 years old.
Right. Damn. What did that do to you psychologically, though?
You know what's funny? I didn't think about it as much until I started getting older, but I thought I was tougher.
Mm-hmm.
And see, my brother, he was more, because my dad tried to get my brother to come live with him. But my dad wasn't on his birth certificate. Mm-hmm. And his mother was very spiteful and kept us away from my brother. Okay. So my brother turned to crime.
This is the one that's in prison. Yeah. Gotcha.
So my brother turned to crime. We look just alike. He's just a little shorter.
Okay.
So he turned to crime, and he was, listen, when you come from the jungle, like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Tarzan. Tarzan's going to stay Tarzan unless they bring him to civilization.
Exactly.
So my brother was more reactive. Like he was more like that.
Yeah.
Me, I had 4 people to kind of like keep me, but I was still tough. Like I wasn't no punk ever.
Right.
But I had something in my brain was like, that's not you. Don't do that, bro. Kind of thing. And we were going to visit my uncle also too in prison when I was young a lot.
Yeah.
When I was little.
So you had a reference point.
So me being caged up was not cool. Yeah. I didn't want no piece of it.
Yeah. Did you feel like as you got older, did you feel like you wanted some revenge?
You didn't feel that? You know, another thing too, I don't know why I thought this when I was younger, but I never took anything personal. It was never personal. It was always like it's a part of life.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to like understand it.
Yeah.
Go through it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's funny because I have that now at almost 50. Yeah. But the fact that you had that insight is impressive.
It was the weirdest thing, man.
Yeah. That was wisdom then because I have it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to grow, and some people have to grow into that.
Yeah. I mean, because it's your journey.
He just got it, by the way. Like,
it's all good as long as you got it.
Like this year.
Yeah.
As long as you got it. As long as you got it.
Yeah. I've known him for more than 20 years. That shit is new.
Hey, we all works in progress. You know what I mean?
It's all good.
But yeah, no, that is excellent because it's like the older I've gotten, I always stay in a place of gratitude, even when it's not in my favor. You know what I'm saying? I think life is perspective too. You know, it's what you choose to entertain. You know what I mean?
Facts.
And like you said, it's funny. The older I'm getting, even though I'm Christian, but you know, I almost think like a Buddhist. You know, where sometimes shit just is what it is. Yeah. There's no rhyme or reason. Sometime on this side of eternity, you don't get explanations for why things happen or why things don't happen. You know what I mean? You just have to be fluid. You have to be adroit with life because it's always moving and changing. You know what I mean? So I think that's how you keep peace too. That's how you keep your peace within. You know, because when you start wanting to control everything and understand everything, and sometimes you got to realize that the best thing you can do is try to influence the outcome that you want. But at the end of the day, it's going to be what it's going to be. Yeah, no, for sure, man. And, you know, it's funny you say that. You know, you think Buddhist, so I think I'm more of that monk Buddhist kind of individual. And I'm not saying that growing up I was just like all peaceful. Like I was I get it.
Crazy kid too, you know, but I learned how to like calm the brain. And,
modulate your emotions. Right.
So then there's the philosopher that always speaks about creating the monster within and then being able to control them. And I think that's all men.
For sure.
I think you should be able to create the most vicious monster that you have inside and then being able to control that person, because if not, like, what are you worth?
Exactly.
Right? Like what you have to create, you have to become uncomfortable. You have to do these things so that you can find out your ultimate self. And Kobe used to speak about this, like, I need to exhaust in basketball, and this is the regret that I have plus jealousy that Kobe got it. and he stayed with it. He didn't worry about what people said. Oh, Kobe's an ass when he's playing and no one wanted to be his friends and blah, blah, blah. He's like, guess what? Everybody in the world cried. Everybody in the world know how amazing he is. The best two guard ever to me, right? Because he exhausted that moment. And I think as parents, and especially as a father, you exhaust it. You give, and as much as you're giving your children, I think you should give yourself the best because they're watching, right? So like in life, exhaust yourself.
Yeah.
Become everything you can become, especially when you think it. 5-second rule, Mel Robbins. The 5-second rule is when you start thinking something, write it down, get it done, become it, because the universe is speaking to you to be your best. But if you delay it, right, it skips in the back of the line.
Right,
now.
right.
And now it might not happen to you 50 or 60 or 70.
That's
right?
True.
It was like, oh, you know what? I got this idea now. It's like, well, you're 70 now, bro. You ain't got that much time.
Man, that's funny, bro. I keep saying we're a year apart, but it's like we hit these mental milestones, you know, and these understandings that I'm on the same page with you, bro. You have to be optimal in yourself, and you can't hold back, you know, because time is tight. So when you think about us being damn near 50, you know what I mean? So if we do another what we just did, which seems like a blur, shit, we out of here.
Out of here, bro.
You know what I mean? So you got to make it count.
You got to make it count. Got to make it count.
The podcast this week, like I was just talking to someone the other day, and they were like, yeah, because we were filming for other things all up until this week. And they're like, well, it's the holidays. Everyone's going home. And I was like, nah, me and Court are doing podcast episodes this week. And they were like, God damn, like, the week before the holiday, and it's like, yeah, man, my kids is in school till Thursday.
Right.
It's still fucking Monday and Tuesday. Like, so we're gonna get it. Like everyone that works here is we're going here, we're traveling. I'm like, nah, we're working.
Yeah, you gotta get it.
And that's what I want my son to understand. He wasn't with me this past weekend, so we have 50-50 custody.
Okay.
So this past weekend was his birthday on a Sunday. So he missed AAUs on Saturday and he missed Sunday. So of course I'm upset because you don't negotiate those things.
Right.
Like get that done and then go have fun.
Do you know what
I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But again, I was raised differently and I understand what success looks like and what we have to do. Right. Right. So what you were talking about, and you guys are like, I'm still filming. That's what Cole was saying. Like, listen, all that forget all that.
Yeah.
What do you want to become?
Yeah. Exactly.
Whatever you want to become, like, lose yourself in it.
No, real talk.
You can still have a party between after you finish playing. They give some cake and everything, and we out. Let's go another day. But guess what? I got 2 games in. I got 2 practices, and I got things in. Yeah. Because I'm going to because see, he's 13. You know, it's NIL now. They looking at kids when they sophomores, juniors. Before you, like you said, it's a blur. That blur is even faster now. Yeah. This is quantum.
Hell yeah.
So before you know, oh wow, I'm 16. Oh yeah, guess what?
Yeah.
Division I's are talking now. Yeah. So if you keep skipping and skipping and skipping and skipping,
you know what
you're gonna do.
I just thought of an interesting question, and I hope I can word it correctly. Because I know you speak to kids a lot, right? And I know you do a lot of mentoring and motivational speaking. Do you think the way that we were raised, right? Do you think the way that we were reared and the things that we were taught is applicable to now, because that was a world that doesn't exist anymore? So some of our sensibilities, the way that we deal with each other, like you said, things aren't that serious. We don't understand cyberbullying. We understand, you know, the imano, you know, alpha male shit. So just when you think about the sensibilities of us growing up in the 70s and the 80s, does that still apply to now?
It does. I mean, let me tell you why it does. Because there's nothing that's under the sun today that wasn't under the sun before, or when we're gone, will be again. Right? The same sun that shines now, the same sun that shined before we were here, and will shine when we're gone. Right? And I think that's it's Alchemist or The Richest Man in Babylon, one of the 2 books. But I say that to say, everything is a recycle. Music, clothes, everything. So it's about picking the right principles and morals, whether it was Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, whoever it was. You pick those values because guess what? They're all fighting for the same cause. Right. Right? So as parents, you want the best for your child. It's just that, like, a lot of parents don't want the best for themselves. So you're not trying hard, right? So me, I know what uncomfortable feels like, right? You know what uncomfortable feels like.
Absolutely.
Right? Like I don't go on just vacations just to go on vacation. I'm cool. Like my life, this is a vacation. Life is a vacation. I'm telling you, because then you're going.
Yeah.
Think about Earth is 4-something billion years old. You're only living for 80, 90 something years, if that. If you're lucky. If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Right? Cove gets out of here at what, 41?
Yep.
Something like that. And 3 years after he played, he was thinking my next 20 something years, I'm gonna kill it in business, and I'm gonna kill it in this. And I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I mean, for me, I think everything that I've learned from the good and the bad, because you have to take the lessons from someone that's doing crack, or someone that's starting a business, or someone that's beat their kids, or someone that talk to the kids. You got to take lessons from every single thing,
from everybody,
and apply it, and like really sit back and understand that.
Yeah.
So you can be able to be the best version for not only yourself, but the people that you mentor.
And see, that's where it's different, right? That's where I see a difference in terms of the sensibility of now, because like you just said, I share that, right? I can learn from anybody. Sometimes you learn what not to do by talking to someone, right? But nowadays, the kids, if your shit ain't together, or they can't see it, and to them it doesn't look like you have the accoutrements of success or whatever, the accolades or whatever, right? They don't want to listen. Where you see, I think that's where a disconnect is with some of the kids.
I think we're more aware of what you speak of because we're older, but I think we were the same, not we, us too, but I think we as a generation was the same back then. Because let me tell you why. It's because how many cats do you know that failed?
Right.
Think about that. So those cats that failed, they had the same message you had.
Right.
So they were like, look, listen, you on my level, dog, or you right here, or this, that, whatever. I'm not listening to all that old head. Get out of here. But if it's somebody higher, they'll listen. Because it's too many people. It's too many people that failed when we were younger than it are successful.
That's true.
And the reason why is because they didn't really listen
to
what they should listen to.
Right.
But I think now kids are more spiritually aware than we were when we were younger, I think.
Do you think they're spiritually aware, or are they just
they're
technology, or just YouTube?
They're more conscious.
Is YouTube making them conscious? I mean,
you know what?
Recycled information.
I would put it this way. I wanted to be an optimist of humanity, and because my daughter's way smarter. He's way smarter than me when I was 13.
Yeah.
Because of looking at the phone.
Right.
Right. So it's like this is a digital magazine.
Right.
That can talk.
Right.
So if you think about it,
and it's no questions.
It's no different than men with suits reading their paper on the train and not associated with anybody.
Right.
You think on a train back in the 50s and 60s, they were talking to each other, or they got on that train and they were reading that whole paper? The smartest men out there now are not sociable. They're awkward.
Right, they are.
They're awkward as hell. They don't even have.
Some of them on the spectrum.
They're on the spectrum. Asperger's, the whole thing. They don't even know how to conversate. They get uncomfortable.
This is true.
But they can read all the books in the magazines and the New York Post and blah blah. They can do all that.
We're talking about Elon, just in case.
Right, but just like all of them, they're really socially awkward.
Yeah, for sure.
It's no different than the kids now. It's like, they want to be around their friends. Then when they get around their friends, they're all back on their phone again.
Right.
Like,
but the
information was curated then, though, and put into the paper. This is like unlimited access to knowledge.
I push back a little bit, Kat, because what I'll say is they have access to more information in real time. But I feel like they traded the lack of information that we got in real time, we made up with wisdom.
Wisdom comes through pain, though, right?
Yeah, through damage,
right?
And time, yeah.
Right.
Not
so
always years.
They're going to get there. Hopefully, it doesn't be as hard.
Yeah.
But some people get there later on. We may not see. It's like the seed that you plant to bring shade, right? We won't see that.
Right. And the reason I say this, because I look at my kids, right? I look at my 15 compared to my kids' 15. Sensibility was way different. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was like I had a innate wisdom or just enlightenment of the world and even socially, which for them, they may know more, obviously, because of technology, but they can't, like you said, they can't really navigate the world for real.
You know
what
why?
I'm saying?
You said it earlier. What do we do as parents? I want to give my kids something I didn't have.
Right.
So what is that actually? Right? Some of us overcompensate and we want a bear hug.
That's true.
So now instead of like,
and it usually comes back to resource.
So I was listening to a podcast. I don't know which one it was, but a lady did an experiment, and she was a psychologist, and she has 3 girls, and all of her girls are super successful. I forget exactly what their titles are. All of them are super successful. And what she did was she let all of the girls, she would drop them off 10 years old to the mall and said, find your way back home. They take buses. Damn. They was doing their arts and craft. They was doing everything they were supposed to do. But she gave them responsibility at a very young age. It's what I kind of do with my kids. Go ahead, you can go with your friend.
Right.
But it's the responsibility that you have to have. So you're learning awareness.
Yeah.
Kind of like when we were younger.
Yeah.
You walking down the street, you catching the bus, especially in Philadelphia. Right. You know what I'm saying? The East Coast. You on the sub, you on the train, you on this, and you're starting to understand things. Where now parents, it's like Ubers and or you take them yourself. Or it's like hover over them kind of thing. So they're not really building their sensibilities and awareness of like life and how life goes. Yeah. So it's more our fault than anything, right?
I can see that.
There's more TVs and rooms and this, that, whatever, and it's not books and it's not walking and it's not really engaging in the human
exactly
essence of life.
That's why I say I think we made up for it with that, because we have more of the human aspect of it, where they're all technology.
Right, all technology, So that's the crazy thing, right? Because as much as I would love, to be around my kids all the time, like, listen, I get sick of myself, right? That's why I go outside. Of course I'm gonna get sick of them. All right, go over with your friends. Go do something else. You know what I mean?
A break from your ass.
Right? Like you can lift weights in your garage, but you go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Because we need each other. We definitely need each other.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Energy.
Regardless if you ain't talking to somebody, as long as you're in the room. You know what I mean? You're in the same room because you feed off of energy. Right?
Yeah. And speaking of which, I done seen you in the gym a few times. We go to the same gym. I see you in there doing your calisthenics shit. Is that that's your work? You just on the calisthenics
every day?
Okay,
every day.
When I first seen you in there, I was like, "What does nigga work out like? He just got out." Like, I think I see you doing burpees and shit. I was like, he got the good penitentiary workout.
I do that every day, man. Because sometimes I won't lift. I'll just go in and do that. Hit the sauna. Go on the treadmill, put the incline to 12, put it on 3, and I'm just going, and then I get out of there. But I just do that, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been in the gym lifting and doing all that stuff my whole life. But I just want to stay, just because I'm not playing the men's league, or I just want to, show my son stuff and my daughter, things like that. I just try to stay as sharp as I can.
Let me ask you, what was it like, man, when everybody knows your basketball history, it's well documented, but when you finally got drafted and made it to the NBA, what was that feeling at that moment? All the hard work you had done prior to that, knowing that you can put yourself and your family in a different position, and this is pretty much going to change the trajectory of your life. Like, what was that, taking that in at such a young age, that feeling? Was it a pursuit of happiness, like the end of the movie when Will Smith walked out and started clapping?
Yeah, kind of like that. From Kobe to Aaron McKee, to Eddie Jones, to Rasheed Wallace, to Alvin Williams, just all of them got drafted before me, and they were all my guys. So I was just wanting to be a part of the group, And I remember all of them were
in the same draft class?
No, they were before me.
Okay, got you.
So I came in 98. Kobe was 96. Alvin was 90. Everybody was before me. So I just wanted to be. The pressure was on now because I'm hanging with them and playing with them. Now I gotta go to the pros. So I'm just gonna be like the left out guy. So we're at my house, and it was anxiety up the wazoo, right? And there's a commercial that comes on, and after the commercial, I'm walking up and down the street. Al's trying to talk to me. Alvin Williams trying to talk to me. I'm like, I don't want to hear this. Because the previous year Alvin got picked in the second round, and before he got picked, we in there crying. Like, dog, you better than this. We had his house, like that, right? So he gets picked. Now we joyful. We jumping up and down. Now it's my year. It's next year. And we crying again. Well, I'm crying. He not crying because he in the pros. So, and I'm just feeling like a failure now. Like I'm trying my best and blah, blah, and I'm feeling sorry for myself. So then I snapped out of it. He's like, yo, dog, what are you doing? You cool. Just relax. So the commercial, it comes from the commercial. And Adam Silver says, with the 41st pick, the Houston Rockets select Cuttino Mobley. My heart almost came out my chest. I was like, what did they just say?
Yeah.
And to me, it was so surreal because it's like, I'm in a fraternity of like, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's elite. Yeah.
Scottie Pippen, Rudy Tomjanovich called my phone. I'm like, I can't even breathe. I'm like, God damn, this is crazy, man. I get my jersey. I sleep in my jersey for a week, for a little week.
Yeah.
Then I go to Houston. It's a press conference, the whole thing. But I mean, it's.
Did you live in Houston?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you? So
love Houston.
So you're in Houston now, right? So you're playing for the Rockets. So this is also a hip hop platform. So you had to have spent some time down there, and you got a chance to see the influence of rap a lot.
Oh my God. Okay, so.
Shout out Jay Prince.
Shout out to Jay Prince. Singer.
Jay Prince, my OG.
Yeah.
He's everyone. He's all our OG.
Jazz, his son, his young
Jazz
one.
Prince.
He was always at my house.
Okay.
The one who found Drake.
Yep. Jazz
He was
Prince.
always at my house. Always. I mean, he had a little kid at my house.
Yeah.
Literally my son's age. Probably younger than that. Just at my house, just hanging around all the time. I always supported him.
Yeah.
My little brother. Lil Wayne was young, little at my Scarface, Brad, one of my close friends, Bun B, Slim Thug. And I'm like, at that time, everybody's coming up. Scarface was Scarface already.
Yeah.
Jay Prince was Jay Prince already.
Right.
But we didn't know Slim Thug.
Right.
You didn't know Mike Jones.
Right.
Right. You didn't know Pow Wow.
Yeah.
You didn't know a lot of these dudes. And then like they were all Travis Scott was the ball boy.
Really?
Oh,
He was the ball boy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
You never know who's gonna become who.
You just don't know.
Never
It's the craziest. It's
never
mind-boggling to me.
Well, you came up, the only ones really like Face and Ghetto Boys, but Devin, Tila, Zero. I mean, that was all in your era. Like
all of them was hanging around.
Yeah.
All of them come to Rockets.
Yeah.
All of them.
What was your experience? What was your relationship and your experience like with Jay Prince Sr.?
I mean, he was the OG, right? He was the Oracle. So it was like he was always an amazing person, very respected. And it was just love always because his son was at my house all the time, right? So he knew what type of cat I was. I would consider myself solid, right? Because he let his son hang at my house because his son and my brother Daniel was super tight, and close. Yeah, so you kind of stay out the OG's way, right? You don't be riding coattails and trying to be. And that's one thing I always did, right? I wait my turn when it comes to things like that, right? So even when it was Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley, I was hanging with on the road a lot. I'm standing in the background. I'm holding the bags. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to act like I'm Scotty's 6 rings or Charles, top 2 best power forward ever. I'm not doing that. I'm just a rookie.
Yeah,
that's all I'm doing. And a lot of guys, especially nowadays, they kind of jump forward in the respect era. Like, just because you are a young star, you think you are Michael? No. You think you're this? No. That's not how that works.
See, I'm going back to what I said, Kat, earlier. That's why I say different sensibility.
Yes.
Because, yes, it was the same thing with me coming up through music, and being with Master P for so many years. You play your position, and they don't have that nowadays.
Right.
Like, they don't have that sensibility. Everybody wants to be the chief. Nobody.
Well, he's going through that right now. Him and what's the name?
Right.
Him and his
son.
His son.
Yeah. So everybody wants to be the chief. Nobody wants to play their position. Like Fat Joe told the best story when he talked about Big Pun. He was like, I discovered Big Pun. He said, but when he became Big Pun, I was opening doors for him. I was that dude for him. I was that dude for him. You know what I mean? He said, Khaled is my little brother. Yeah. Khaled, you know what I mean?
Listen, Khaled and Joe and all of them. Chris Gotti, Irv Gotti, Ja, Shanti, Khaled used to, Joe, Khaled, they used to come and stay at my house. Khaled, it was like he had milk. He had what do you call it? Milk?
Those cartons.
The crates.
Yeah.
The crates.
Crazy.
Records.
Albums in the joint.
Yeah, with records, yeah.
No one knew Cali.
Yeah, exactly.
He was the sweetest, he was the best dude.
That's
that same person. That's energy, that spirit, that same person, the same person with all that money now.
Yeah.
Same person.
And that's what playing your position. Because even Joe said now, he said, Khaled's my little
that
brother.
Dude.
He said, I opened doors for this dude
my
now.
Dude.
You know, so they don't have that now. Now everybody want, oh man, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the man.
I don't like that.
I don't either.
I don't like that.
I don't either.
And you know the funny thing about that, and it does make sense to what you're saying, but the funny thing about that is because we've meshed. See, you take a kid that's a 13-year-old, and this trainer is training him, but that trainer has, you know who he has next? He has Jason Tatum. So now that kid's starting to be like, well, I'm doing the same moves as him. I'm going to be in the league too.
Right.
Like you're not really understanding. This is different.
Right.
And until you get to there, right? Like you have to respect the grind. Like they don't respect the grind. You gotta
pay your dues. They don't understand paying dues. They don't understand paying dues.
Again, that's Instagram. That's the phone, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when we were younger, you talk to a girl, you got to wait till you go home.
Yeah.
You got to listen to the voicemail. Now it's a quick text.
Quick text.
You like a psycho.
Everything is instantaneous, you know.
Yeah.
So now that you're down there with Rap a Lot, I'm curious, you being from Philly, what was some of the hip hop that you were influenced? Who's some of your favorite hip hop that you were into?
When I was down in Houston?
Yeah. Or just coming up. Like who'd you listen to?
I mean, I was Scarface. I was Jay, of course, Jay-Z. I was European Rakim. I was, I mean, Snoop had came out.
Yeah.
So that was Dr. Dre came out.
Yeah.
That was great. But I was more of an East Coast guy.
That's what I figured. That's where I was getting at.
You know what I'm saying? Wu-Tang, you know what I'm saying?
Because Philly, I mean, you from Philly.
Yeah, so Beanie Siegel was our guy.
Beanie Siegel's dope.
Beanie was, listen, when he came out.
He's dope.
I thought, listen, he make you want to fight. When we was younger.
He's got bars,
man.
Oh,
my goodness.
He got bars. And his shit gangster. And he got bars.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Bean was unbelievable.
He's one of the few East Coast artists that I did like him, LL, Rakim,
of course,
DMX. You know what I'm saying?
DMX was amazing.
Yeah,
But I was East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like I was East Coast through and through. And then when I got to Houston, because they showed me so much love from Scarface to, OGJ, you know what I'm saying, Willie, you know what I'm saying, like all of them, it was Southern hospitality. It was just amazing dudes, right? I could just go anywhere around the city and I was protected. It was just love. It was, so I started to really enjoy their music.
Yeah.
Right. And then when I came to Cali in 2005, because I've been here almost 18 years. So when I came to Cali in 2005, it was the same thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? The music and the culture.
Yeah, the culture.
And I'm like, wow, all right, I understand what these crazy boys with slippers on and socks, and khakis. I understand these cats. You know what I mean? So shout out to my man Term and Baron Davis. And it was like bringing it in. And then I met the one dude, his name was Bone. And he was in a lot of movies. Training Day.
Oh yeah, you talking about Bone from Athens?
Yeah, Athens. Yeah, so he was my guy.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of love.
Him and Baron had like a partnership too, right? They did a whole documentary.
Bastards
of the Party.
Bastards of the Party. Yeah. So Bastards of the Party. So looking through their eyes, and that's one thing. Because my dad's from the streets, and my uncle's from the streets, my brother and my family was like that. My stepfather, was gangster too, right? So he ran numbers. So he was the top guy and he had 5 different stores. So we had, we lived in the hood, but we wasn't poor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So people respected him.
Yeah.
And they feared him, So I think I learned a lot from them too, is because they taught me, listen, you can't go over to South Philly or West Philly acting like, you know what I'm saying? Like you run that. You respect where you go. Right. So that's what I always did. Everywhere I was at, my hands was up like, listen, I just want to be a part of what's going on. Like what y'all do. That kind of thing. And
Body language. You believe in that checking in thing? That everyone like checks in when they go to a city? That's been a big topic because of everything going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they do now. But when I came everywhere, I showed as much love as possible. Right. And then there was no also too is the way I had fun, the way I partied, I shared. What you need, y'all, everything
Make
good?
sure everybody was good.
So
you weren't trying to stun on nobody.
Exactly. It was none of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they do now because I don't do nothing.
Right.
So, a lot of people do a lot of like, it's a whole bunch of chains and it's a whole bunch of bottles. And you're like, these dudes are from here and you're not even blessing them. Or, why I got to touch them? Why?
Right.
Well, because they live here.
Right.
So make them feel good too.
Yeah. So you was about inclusion and just showing love.
For a fact.
Yeah.
For a fact.
Yeah. Did you ever, coming up in the 90s, and I'm sure you went through your phase of wearing jewelry and probably, just getting to some money and having fun. Did you ever run into like street problems or like getting robbed or anything like that?
Nope.
You was able to avoid that?
I had one chain, and the chain was this is my first year when I ain't had that much money. I always wore white T-shirts and blue jeans and Timbs, and I had a red Phillies cap on or sweats. But I had a chain, and it was a diamond chain, and it was the emblem had to be about maybe that big, and it was a cat, diamond out. The whole face was diamond out cat with his hat backwards, and it said Philly cat. That's the only thing I had. The next year, I gave it up.
Damn. What made you do that?
It's just too much.
Really?
For me.
Okay.
Just
wasn't your thing.
No.
Okay.
I didn't like that.
Yeah. Do you think that's a good investment, buying diamonds and jewelry?
No.
Because people argue that. People now in hip hop, they'll argue, oh man, is it better to buy gold opposed to diamonds and white gold and the chains and shit?
I mean, listen, to each his own, right? I mean, you can collect watches and, and don't put nothing on them. People want bust downs and all this other stuff. And if it is not from the actual place, right? Then it's devalued. Right. So who you going to give it to? Your homeboy is going to buy it from you?
Yep.
Right? Opposed to you having paperwork on it.
Yeah.
From actually Hublot or, Petit Philippe or whatever it is. Like you're not sending it back to them and telling them to bust it down.
Right.
You're giving it to a jeweler. Right. So then now you can't send it back to one of those major watch companies and then tell them you want the same amount back. That's not how that works.
Right.
So, listen, you have to go through these phases.
Right.
And then also too is there's a perception. I think a lot of people in general, whether you play basketball, whether you rap, or whether you're a singer or actor or whatever, you become a method actor of that certain category. So then you may want to leave it, but you can't. Like some rappers, they want to J. Cole's played a part for himself that he's so original. He doesn't have to do nothing.
Nothing.
But then how about the guy that's like
he set the standard where he always got to be that.
Right. So now the guy that came in with a whole bunch of jewelry and all this other stuff, you got to stay keeping it. Because if you don't do it and you got so much money in the bank and you take it off, that's what they're going to say. Oh, he broke. Oh, he
fell
not
off.
doing right.
Yeah, he fell off.
J. Cole get caught riding bicycles in New York and
and it's regular. It's just normal.
Eating that hot dog stairs.
Keep the pressure.
He said,
Kendrick
keep the pressure off yourself.
Keep the pressure off yourself.
You
know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to Ralph's, in pajamas, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm cool, man. I don't want no problems. You know
what? We ain't never touched a ton of money, but he used to always say that about me because he was into cars. I had the same car for a decade.
He did.
He did.
And he was like, bro, I know you touching some money. Like, and I was like, it's a bad investment.
And everybody, I think it's balanced, man. I think when you start making money, right? I think at some point, it's cool to indulge in the things that you like, right? You work hard for your money.
But that's the key, though. Before I cut you off, see, is it that you like it,
right,
or is it that you see it on someone else? So now I have to be a part of this.
That's where I think it's a problem. That's why I say the things you like. If you just happen to like jewelry, right, like me, I like guns. I've been liking guns since I was a kid.
I love guns.
I had BB guns, I had water guns, I had pellet guns, I had the guns with the shit to stick when you hit it. I had all of that, right? So it was natural. And cars too. I used to have Matchbox cars, remote control cars. So it was natural for when I got older. It was like, oh shit, that's my thing, But it's not following or trend, trying to be a trend.
Right.
What's your gun? What's your pistol of choice? Since you said that.
What, guns?
Yeah.
Right now, I think a 40, or 44. But I was always like a 40 for me.
What brand?
Smith.
I
like Rugers.
Ruger, Ruger was a P89, P90, but that's the old school. I don't know what the new polymer.
Ruger just did a 5.7.
I know, I seen that. And they long as hell.
But I think you can't get them in California unless you like law enforcement.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I wanted to be able to start collecting them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean,
what would be your weapon of choice for close quarter combat, like home defense?
A 9.
Really? Over a 12 gauge?
Well, yeah, you could do a 12. But I mean, it's just like it looks good.
Yeah.
For me.
You want to look good when you got to put it to work.
I'm gonna shoot your toes now off. I ain't gonna kill you, but I'm gonna put the feet to work.
I want to ask you this. So, I mean, you've had some exhilarating highs, and I'm sure you've had some devastating lows, because that's just life.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And I love, as I watched a lot of your content, I love your motivation and your mental fortitude and your disposition. Like, how do you deal with loss and disappointment and setback in life? Because I mean, I'm sure you've had that's life for everybody. But how do you deal with it? And what advice would you give to someone that's like, because again, mental illness, we just had the death of Twitch, so you got a lot of people hurting. What advice would you give them?
Well, I think, for me, what I do is it's like, think about my stepmother passing away in 2019. Me fighting for custody all those years and still go through, ups and downs and things like that. I think writing, journaling, working out, riding bike, those type of things for me helps me really center the mind and the spirit, opposed to like just sitting in misery, right? Because, listen, Monday's not going to be like Tuesday, and Tuesday's not going to be like Wednesday. But if you go into the mindset that every day is the same day, as far as like the potential to become your best, I think death is a part of life, right? Like, that's just what it is.
Yep. None of us are gonna make it out. None of us are gonna make it out here alive.
Yeah. Like, everything's risky.
Yeah.
So I forget what mentor said that. Having a marriage is risky. Starting a business is risky. This is risky until you
choose your risk. You choose it.
It's so risky that you don't even get out alive. Right. It's like, that's how risky life is. Like, no matter what you do, I don't care how many supplements you take. I don't know how much you work out. Like,
this is true.
Something's going to happen. So when you really start to understand that, I think it's just trying your best to like journal, trying your best to like find meaning, purpose of life, right? Because for me, it's helping people. It's bettering myself. Like, I feel joy in doing that and being okay with, like, I don't have to be a superstar. I can just be Cuttino. And if a star is born from that, then cool.
Right.
If not, I enjoy taking my son to practice and my daughter to, arts, and taking her to practice and doing this with her or him and having my friends around and my family. Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it all starts with like really understanding who you are, and it's like a lifetime journey, right?
Yeah, real talk. Because you change.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You evolve.
I mean, think about it. You had your daughter until you are now.
Exactly.
Like, you're totally different.
Yeah,
right?
and I'm continuing to evolve.
Yes.
I tell people that all the time. You're never too old to pivot and become someone else if you choose to. As new information comes in through life, you live life long enough to teach you how to live.
Yes.
How did you adjust to? I'm curious. How did you adjust to fame once you got to the NBA?
Well, fame is a tricky word, right? Jeffrey Dahmer, Charles Manson, right? They're famous, right?
For the wrong shit, but
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think for me, having the family that I have, my mom, my stepdad, my dad, my stepmom, brothers and sisters, I think that for me kept me, because it's easy to like, because you want to like test the waters of whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I just knew right from wrong, man.
So you just
like, I'd be in rooms,
being grounded.
Yeah, I was in rooms where there's cocaine and this going on and that going on and it's pretty girls, and I'm like, nah. And you are a loser for doing that. So, I'm not going to call him that, but I'm like, I'm just going to distance myself.
Yeah.
Because that's just not something I felt like doing. I don't think our friendship should go any farther because that's not something I want to be around.
Right.
Because I understand what that can do. I know what it's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I already got the cheat sheet on that. I grew up around that.
Yeah.
Right. So, but you learn, you learn, and we all have our own journeys and how we walk through life. But I was just grounded, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like you've been grounded a long time, brother.
Yeah.
What so now you transition into the Big 3. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the Big 3. So you retire, from the NBA, mm-hmm. and you go, like, how did you get with Cube and that whole thing of the Big 3?
Corey Maggette, one of my best friends, he hit me and he's like, yo, Cat, do you want to, be a part of the Big 3? So mm-hmm. you and I could be captains of the team, and then we can pick our teammates and we can go in and we can kill it. And I'm like, well, enough said, let's do it. And he's like, you become we all become owners of the league, and, Cube started it, so we want to support another black man, blah, blah. And I'm like, dog, you had me when you asked me. I'm cool.
Okay, so the players share in equity?
Yes, ownership.
Partners? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the original.
Okay.
The original players.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody had different teams.
Who were the original players?
So the Killer Threes was Steven Jackson and Chauncey Billups.
Okay.
Our team power was Corey Maggette, myself. Mm-hmm. Three-Headed Monsters was Rashard Lewis and Jason Williams. Three's Company was Allen Iverson and someone else. I forget who it was. And then you had like coaches also.
Right.
So it was Dr. J. It was Michael Cooper. It was, Gary Payton. It was George Gervin. It was Rick Mahorn. It was, and then they pivot, and Lisa Leslie came in, and Nancy Lieberman came in.
Nice.
Nancy's our coach. So, it was kind of like that, kind of like a players league kind
of thing. What's it like working with Cube?
Cube's cool. Cube's mm-hmm. a workaholic. I mean, him, Snoop, and Shaq,
mm-hmm.
I don't know when they sleep.
Really?
It's the craziest thing, man. Cube will be overseas, and then he'll come back for a game, and then he'll go do a concert, and then he'll go back over. Like, I don't understand how he do it, but he's amazing at it. And the same thing with Snoop, same thing with Shaq. Like, they're just everywhere. But Cube is he's a good dude, man. Mm-hmm. We talk. If I text him, he hits me back, and mm-hmm. vice versa.
Nice.
But it's kind of crazy how you grow up on Cube.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
You grew up with that, right?
Is he what you thought? NWA, Icecube. You know what I mean? Death Certificate, America's Most Wanted.
He's mature and older now, right? So, but he loves his players,
mm-hmm.
he loves his family. He wants what's best for everybody.
Uh-huh.
And it's weird because you watch people on TV.
Yeah.
I watch. I watch Friday.
Yeah.
And then there's Chris Tucker and there's Neil Long and there's Cube. I'm like, they're all my people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the craziest thing. But when you're a kid, you're watching this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a crazy
It's
thing.
a blessing because, I mean, even me coming from Kansas City, I've been here 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people that I watched on TV for years have become friends, my peers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a trip. Sometimes I'll sit back and be like, damn, that's crazy. I remember watching.
Tiny.
Even Tiny. Rest in peace to Tiny.
Yeah,
Tiny was a good friend of mine, but from Michael Jai White, I mean, obviously Master P, being one of my best friends, but Jasmine Lewis, AJ Johnson, the list goes on. And these are people that I was watching, and it's like, damn, I'm either sharing the screen with them or we're personal friends.
Right.
And,
right.
So that's a trip. There was an interesting moment that I saw with the Big 3. That thing with you and Michael Rappaport, was that real or was that staged?
Despite not playing, I mean, my man is looking custom suit sharp. Cuttino, this is a tough game. Killer Threes are not playing around. What do you have to say about this game, Cuttino? Cuttino, this is a tough game. Killer Threes are not playing around. What do you have to say about this game, Cuttino? My man, you looking at me like you want to put hands on me.
Please, man, before I put hands on you. I ain't Ryan Hollins. I'm not Scalabrini. Get off of me, man. It was real at first.
Okay.
Yeah, it was real at first. And then Mike called me and said, yo, Cat. He said, come on, let's do a little skit.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And he was like, yo, listen, I'm going to touch you, and I'm going to do this, and I want you to, like, just, let's ad-lib. And I'm like, all right, cool. So then it went from real to, I'm like, yo, just don't touch me again.
Uh-huh.
That kind of thing.
So it was staged.
Yeah, because we had a couple of interactions, and then the one everyone saw was staged.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So because you seem, well, you're a hella actor, because you seem hella annoyed with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was something there.
Yeah.
He annoys you a little bit?
Yeah. Well, one is I wasn't playing.
Okay.
And two is you touching my suit.
Okay.
So it's like, just don't.
So
Leave me, I'm a little agitated.
I want to get
Virgo,
to that.
So
I'm a Leo Virgo.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I want to get to that. Dog, you be clean as shit, bro.
Thanks.
Like, when'd you start that? Like, when'd you start, or have you always just been
Since
just
I
a
was a kid.
fashionista? Do you dress yourself, or you got a stylist?
No, I dress myself.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I just knew you had a stylist.
Yeah, no, just myself. So my mom was my stylist growing up. My mom had her own boutique. My dad made clothes.
Oh.
So me and my mom would go literally to New York.
Yeah.
Get fabric, get clothes, come back, and then she would sell it to all the hair salon girls.
Okay.
Right? And so I went to Catholic school.
Okay.
So my stepfather always always look clean. Right? So I love people. When I saw older men in suits, I'm like, I'm gonna be
Man,
that.
I ain't gonna lie, homie. I done jacked a couple of your color schemes. Like, I done been on your shit like, oh, damn, that shit right there. I screenshot it and sent it to my people like, hey, I need this for the next thing. That shit, you know, you be having it dialed in,
Thank
bro.
you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Is that why you think that's why Fat Joe named you Cat Daddy?
Yeah, no, it was just I don't even know. We were sitting at the house and he just starts saying it, but I forget why he said it. But it was.
You know, speaking of celebrities, I mean, as we were just talking about us coming from humble beginnings, what was one celebrity that once you got into the limelight, that you met, that you was just like wowed by, and you got a chance to meet them? Like
Sidney Poitier.
You met Sidney Poitier.
Oh my God!
Wow. What was it? How did you do that?
It was quick too. No, it was on Rodeo.
Okay.
He was going into Bally's, the shoe store, and I don't mess with nobody. I don't mess with nobody. And Muhammad Ali, those two for me, like so Bill Cosby, my rookie year, we were in Jersey, and playing the Nets in Jersey when they were the New Jersey Nets. And he came on the floor, and I was like, he knew everything about me. I was blown away.
Wow. So
those three cats for me. And then one of my close friends, actually two of them are my close friends, Evan Ross and Ross Ness's brother. And the Rosses I'm close to. And their mother, Diana, my dad loved Mrs. Ross. And I knew her. Like, it was just, for me, like those people back for me, I grew up on them.
Absolutely.
And then Sidney to me is just like life.
Yeah.
Like he's just amazing from what I knew.
Yeah.
Amazing being.
Were you able to cultivate a relationship with Bill?
You know what? Not much. Because listen, man, I'm in my 20s. I'm like, yo, I love y'all. I got to go.
Yeah. Like,
I got to figure this out.
Yeah, you way older.
Yeah,
like,
life is good.
Way too slow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he was Mr. Huxtable. He'd probably tell me, don't do this and that. And I'm like, no, dog, let me get this out.
Yeah, like I already got 4 parents. I don't need a 5th one.
Yeah.
So now going from the Big 3 to the Drew League, right? Is that...
I was in the Drew before the Big 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was playing in the
Drew League. What was that?
So I was every year I was in the Drew. So I would play LA Unified or different teams and
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So still at this age, you still putting points up on the board.
Yeah,
like,
that's why you see me in the gym. I do that just to keep the body mobile.
Yeah.
You know, so I ain't
you
gotta
still
move
go
fast.
hard. I didn't
what was
see
the
your
original
content.
name though? Get Buckets? Was that?
Get Buckets. That's
Get
Rucker.
Buckets. Yeah, that's the Rucker.
Yeah, Ruckers,
Yeah.
Get Buckets.
I was telling him before because I was like, man, I think he was Get Buckets before.
Yeah, I was Get Buckets way back in the day.
Why they call you Get Buckets?
Because I was like 30 something my first game.
Damn.
Yeah, I was killing them.
Yeah, because you came up in the Rucker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a whole
Fat Joe
different.
team.
Yeah, that was a whole different thing back then.
It was on ceiling. They was on gate. It was so packed. People were like on the fences.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Our team was good.
Yeah.
Then when Kobe came, they called him Lord of the Rings, like rings.
Yeah.
Kobe came and he killed it, and people were like, it was insane how that was.
What was Kobe's energy like? What was it like playing with him?
Well, playing against him, because we grew up together. Of course, I'm 4 years older than him, but Kobe was amazing. He's a Virgo.
Did you play Lower Merion? Like when?
No, he's Lower Merion.
Yeah.
I was Catholic League.
Okay.
So Rasheed Wallace was Public League. Alvin Williams was Interact. So we all, of course, paid attention to each other, worked out in the summers and everything like that. But, when I would talk to Kobe and, give me insight and tell me about this and tell me about that, he was just always mature. And he knew his life was basketball. His life was everything about basketball and what you could do to improve as a person in the game of basketball. And I think God sent Phil Jackson and Tex Winter and Michael and Scotty and those guys because they saw that he has it. So I'm going to send you, because the universe does that. They'll send you a whole bunch of different oracles and mentors, and then what can you do with this? And then you grab onto it. So he wasn't afraid to pick up the phone and call Michael, call this person, and call that person, for advice to become his best. A lot of people don't do that because they're scared of no. But Kobe was, he didn't care about no. He didn't care about no. And I learned that from him, even though I'm older. But just because he's playing the game of ball at 3, 4, his dad's playing, he's in Italy. I picked it up at 13. So I'm obsessed over it and the detail of the game. I started playing with pros by I'm 19 now. So 6 years I'm playing with pros. And then I become a pro at 22, right? So, I think the detail of who I am had a lot to do with how Kobe kind of saw the game also. Yeah.
Okay. Were you guys pretty close?
We were close enough. Not too much fraternizing. Unless you played on his team. Yeah. Right. And then when you're on his team, then you can understand who he is. But I knew who he was because both Virgos, and we talked a lot, and I asked about the girls, he asked about my family and things like that. So, and then growing up in the same city of Philly, right. And then he put me in his book, Mamba Mentality. Okay, nice. The love, when he passed, it was, of course his family took it harder, but I mean, it was hard for me because I knew what he was about to do. Right. As far as business and far as just showing the world like the person that everybody else knew. Yeah. Right. Like I knew. Yeah. And I understood him as a person and who he was and who he was evolving to the rest of the world because he was already there. He was just like, now I've given that all. I'm cool now, and I can become. Yeah. Or I can be this now. And I'm watching everybody see what I'm about to be. Right. From books to mentoring girls and his coaching his daughter to all that other amazing stuff.
What made you transition into doing the podcasting thing now?
I just thought it needed to be something that's for men. I think we're superheroes also. And it's no disrespect to women out there, but if you support men, then great, come on to the podcast and talk. But I think for me, I was in not a dark place, but I was in a place where, from financially getting beat up because I'm fighting for children and, you feel as though you have no power. And then, it's the weirdest thing, man, that like back in the day where I was telling you, album was like, yo, you're feeling sorry for yourself. Like I'm sitting there feeling sorry for myself, and it's like, yo, you're a lucky person. You're breathing. Right. You're Cuttino Mobley. Like get your ass up and figure this out for not just yourself, but everyone else that's struggling like this, that don't have resources like you. Right. So, so it was just more so like coming on and just talking about like, what does it feel like being a dad? Who raised you as a father? And what do you say to other young people that's inspiring to be fathers? And how do we have the rest of the world understand us better, right? As men, as a whole, right? Because we're like, just tuck it, we're mentally incarcerated. It's like whatever, you'll be okay. And, it's so many amazing fathers out there. And for whatever reason, this marketing behind deadbeats or he didn't do this or he did this, it's like you can have an amazing relationship with your children and you just don't get along with the other person. I guess that's okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know why it's like if you don't get along with them, then you're a bad parent. Right. No, that's not true.
Shit just don't work out sometimes.
It just don't work out. You're not meant to be in. Yeah. Right? It's just not meant to be together, and that's okay. But we have amazing children.
Right. You still should be able to. Yeah.
Right. So that's more so for me what it was, just giving fathers a voice to come on and just talk about. I had a couple of guys. Tony the Closer came on. He was talking about his father. At one point in time, his father and him had an estranged relationship. And then before you know it now, he's doing what his father does in real estate. His father are cool now, right? So his dad was military. Tony was NFL. He got out, and at first, sometimes you couldn't understand him. And then you got older, and now you start to understand exactly what men went through. And, his father was raised differently, right? And the way he expressed his emotions and things like that. And then I had Chance, Tabitha Brown's husband on, and he spoke about how he's a father, and he was a young father, things like that, and how he evolved as a person. So it's just different perspectives that I think people should understand and know about.
That's dope. That's needed too. Yeah. That's needed, because I think a lot of times, I tell people, especially because I've been a parent 85% of my life. You know what I mean? So I tell people, especially young kids, these millennials, give your parents a break, because your parents are human too.
Right.
There's no.
They're just trying to figure it out.
There's no handbook for parenting, right? And your parents are going to need the same. You need to give them grace, because you're going to need that too, because you're going to make some mistakes. You may not make the mistakes your parents made, but you're going to make some.
Right.
So I always like to tell people, man, listen, your parents tried the best they did the best they could.
That's what my
even
therapist
if they were horrible.
My therapist told me
they did
just
the best they
that.
could.
Yeah. They listen, if they could do better, they would have, but they only did the best that they could do at the time.
At the time. And they can only give you what they have to give.
That's all they got.
And because sometimes this is what happens too. Sometimes us as children, and I know, like, my mother passed away in 2010. And unfortunately, I didn't really get a chance to know, my mother's name was Renee. I didn't get a chance to know Renee. I just knew Mama.
Right.
See, it's two different things. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes we just don't, I be telling people, man, give your parents a break. You know what I mean? Even if they fucked up, respect them, love them, you deal with them accordingly, but they doing the best they can. This shit hard. You know what I mean? And this man shit, like, I didn't grow up with my dad, and having a child at 16, I used to tell people, man, shit, I may have seemed poised and like I had it together, but shit, behind closed doors, man, I'm trying to figure this shit out.
It eats you up.
You know what I mean?
I'm telling you.
Like, I'm working on being a man behind closed doors.
Yeah, man.
And which would transition me to this question, interesting question. Excuse me. What do you think about, as we talk about this man shit, what are your thoughts on men crying?
Do you know what? When I was younger, it was don't cry.
We're all taught that.
And so I've transitioned to some years of, like, I don't want you crying just to cry. Right now, if someone passes, you break something, that's crying. Now, I want you to start to really understand why you're crying.
Right.
Because I want you to really embrace your feelings, whether it's fear, whether it's anxiety.
Depression,
and then me taking psychology and communications in school and being a therapist that I am, I need to understand. Put it this way, I need to understand my emotions, so then when I'm helping someone understand theirs, I can articulate it in a way where there's some vulnerability, so they can say, okay, he's okay too. You know what I mean? So when I'm talking to my kids, it's like, listen, don't just cry to cry. Right? Because we can fix things without crying. Right. But if you're going to cry, why are we doing it? Are you doing it to manipulate? Are you doing it to do this? Are you doing it to do that? Because sometimes you need to get it out. Yeah. Right. So I'm not against it, but I've been around a lot of, put it this way, I'm not going to call them adults. I call them people who are grown that's playing adults. People think, and especially a lot of, like, women that I've been across. Oh, it's okay to cry, and it's like, well, why? Why are you crying? Let's ask that first. Right. Because it can be unresolved trauma from when you were younger that you don't really know how to manage this issue that's going on. So these are the things that you're going to do to try to get your point across. So the other day, I was talking to my daughter, and it was something, and she was crying. I said, listen, the crying part is not going to fix the issue, because nothing's broken and no one died. So I need to understand from you, and you need to understand why you are crying. Is it for me to change my mind on something? Which because is manipulation. That's manipulation.
Yeah, manipulation.
Right? So a lot of people don't really, a lot of grown-ups don't understand why they're crying. Like, so if I miss my children, I'm fighting for custody, I'm crying, right? I'm crying. Okay, cool. Other than, I'm not saying every situation is whatever, but for me, I just want to know meaning behind things. Right. Like a scientist, right? So, it's like, you have to know meaning behind it. Why are you doing it?
So you're actually a therapist?
Well, I'm not certified.
Okay.
But, I can go and get my certification in LA, California.
So let me ask you,
thing.
Because for some reason, bro, every time I watch Pursuit of Happiness and Fences, I find myself getting emotional. What do you think that is?
Well, because one is both of them are fathers and you didn't have it. Right. So you're seeing that dynamic in itself as that child, because I always say that we're children in grown-up bodies playing an adult. So what adult are you mimicking, right? You're mimicking a whole bunch of different ones. But that true adult, that father that was always there, you didn't have. So when you see Denzel or you see Will and they're playing that and they're fighting for their children or they're doing this for this, you're like, woo, because that's what I am now. And I wish I had it, but I ain't got it, but it's okay. So you're going through like all those dynamics emotionally, right? Whereas though for me, I cry when I'm watching the Disney with my daughter, or I see a certain little thing and I'm like, wow, that feels good. Like I feel that in it. You know what I mean? So it's maybe some different types of voids that we didn't feel at a very young age.
Interesting.
Right? Because my mom loves me. My stepmom loves me. But all the hugging and the kissing and all that, we didn't get that. They showed they love differently.
Okay. I see.
Right? So when I see certain things where it's more, my stepfather kissed, hugged, whole thing.
That's how I am with my son.
My dad will call me every day. He'll call my son and my daughter and them, oh, I love you so much. To my daughter, oh, I love you, boy. I love you, mama. You're the best. But the boys, he's tougher with. But he loves us.
Yeah.
Me, I'm huggy, kissy love.
Yeah, me too.
Right? Because I want it. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Right? I feel good like that.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting that you say that.
I love this dude. I watch some of his stuff, but he be talking about, because I read a lot, so he be talking about languages of love and all sorts of shit on his podcast. And I'm like, I fuck with that, because that's how you get ahead. And I was just reading a book called Good Inside. Which you should check it out. But it's from another therapist, but it's literally about like why we act the way we do, the things that we've missed in our lives.
You're a child. You're in the child's body.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're an adult's body.
I analyze it.
Body.
I analyze it. My mom was 15. My dad was a year or two older. His dad died when he was 12, and his mom was gone when he was 2. So I used to judge him really harshly as a kid. And then I grew up, and I was like,
not scared he was.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just, he did the
trying
best.
To figure it out.
He did the best he could.
But then he had all these other men doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Or he's getting pushed away.
Doing
right? You got to go to work.
Crime,
and you can't bond with your children because you're the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And then if you're not the breadwinner, right, they're going to go to court. And then now you got to put the money and and now you really can't see them. It's so much things that men go through that we don't really understand.
Yeah.
So when I'm like over, protective of my children, I'm fighting and fighting and fighting for my children. Right? Like everybody can't do that. That's why I said on here, I want to be able to set something up so we can have some type of round table where men can really express their feelings and like, not being like, oh, you soft. No, I'm not soft.
Because we're taught to suppress. We're taught to suppress everything, right? You just show strength and you stoic all the time, And it's funny that you say that, because even with my dad, I was never shown love by a man or affection. And when I had my son when I was like 24, 25. I didn't even I was confused on how to show that.
Right.
Like I was like dapping him and shit. Like I felt awkward hugging him.
Yeah.
But it dawned on me one day. That's why I say people got to do their own work. You got to peel those layers back and be honest with yourself.
Facts.
And I said, damn, why do I feel like this toward him? And then it said, oh, you never been shown love by. But my father-in-law would hug me and stuff. And he even said it. He said I would kind of stiffen up, But now my son, 22, man, I hug and kiss this dude.
Yeah, me and my son,
all the time.
My oldest son, my godson.
Yeah.
We all hug.
Yeah.
You know? We hug, kiss on the cheek. We love each other.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And I want you have to you have to become vulnerable.
Yep.
You have to expose your feelings so you can understand them. Right? Because the same thing is like when you practice basketball. If I'm not going hard, you're not going to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Because now what you did is you're very passive in life.
Mm-hmm.
So if I give you all of my love, especially when you're younger and give you all my love, guess what? You're like, okay, that's normal. What's not normal is the person talks to me out of pocket or not giving me hugs, not kissing me, not doing this, not doing that. And you go through life, you start meeting partners like that.
Right.
Those are the people that you're like, oh, this is normal. No, that's not normal.
Right.
It's not normal. My stepfather helped me with that. He was smothered all of us. My mom, he wanted to be up underneath you.
Yeah.
And he did that to us. And it was a great thing. And my mom misses that.
Yeah. Man, I got to come on the podcast, bro.
Yeah,
I have a lot to
please.
offer. I've been a parent for 30 years. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? 85% of my life.
Yes.
And by God's grace, my daughter graduated college. My son is at UCLA. So, I'm someone that didn't have a reference point of what that looked like, what a husband looked like, what a father looked like. I've been figuring this shit out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a good dad. This is my brother for 20 plus years.
I appreciate that.
But like when I got into having my children, him and a couple of close friends from my childhood, I was like, man, I got these men that I could look to.
Yeah.
Because I grew up, my mom was young and we grew up in the hood. Like we grew up in a bad neighborhood.
Right.
But there wasn't a lot of reference points, but I had Court. And I respected. I've known his kids since they was babies.
Right.
Like that's nieces and nephews.
And that's
to
what
me.
you need. It takes a village.
Yeah.
It takes a village.
You cannot do it by yourself.
And what did I tell you? Didn't I tell you about they didn't respect nice shit? Remember that? He didn't understand.
I came to his house in Encino, and he had all these white couches, and his kids was babies. Yeah. I think Boost was just born.
Yeah, she was a toddler.
Yeah, she was like just born, but he had these white couches with Sharpies and crayons on them. And I said, God damn. I was still single with all my nice shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. And he was like, man, they don't respect shit.
I said, they don't respect nice shit.
You would just have when flat screens came out, you had the flat screen.
Yeah.
And I think you was loaning me The Wire. You was like, oh, you ain't watched The Wire yet? You got to. And I was like, but look at your couch, though.
I said, man, these kids don't respect shit. Then he just told me recently. He was like, damn, bro, I see what you meant now. Yeah, they don't respect shit.
That's crazy.
My kids is younger. They're 9 and 7. So I'm still early. And I'm a little younger than y'all. But
it's all good.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's funny.
But I've always just like, you got to have a village and you got to have people you can look up to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. You can't do it by yourself. I'm telling you.
Especially his dads. His dad, you got to have some other dads.
Other men, yes.
That you could be like, hey, man.
Even safe places, bro, just to talk and bounce shit off of. A safe place with no judgment. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, I tell people, man, listen, we are all human, bro. And I may look poised and may seem like I have all the answers and everything rolls off of me, but I'm human.
Yes.
So sometimes I got to get in a quiet space. I get in my head too.
Yeah, just reboot me. I'm good. Just reboot me.
Sometimes I got to tell me to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My cousins do that. My cousin, he's a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
He's run our program, Philly Pride, for I don't know how many years.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Lowry came through there. John J. Hunter, like a lot of guys came through my program.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's that philosophical individual also.
Yeah.
So then my other friend, Kaida, and my other boy, Al, like we all help each other with certain stuff. So they'll come to me, things, and I go to them, and it's, we ping pong off each other.
Yeah. So what else you got coming, man? I know you got some big things brewing.
Yeah, you know what? We're working on Dad's Point of View and kind of expanding it, not just, in the States, but globally.
Okay.
That's one.
Real quick, where does it live at? Where can people find it? Where can they go watch
Well,
it?
right now what we're doing is it has its own what do you call it? IG page right now. Okay. So we're gonna put it on YouTube as short films. We're gonna have it on Spotify, Apple, the whole thing.
All right.
In this coming year, 2023. And you can go on my Instagram and I'll update everyone when we'll have our episodes starting to launch. But just focusing on that, man, and trying to build this whole male father dad movement to help men out there. I mean, Twitch got rest his soul, but he was going through some things where he couldn't talk to nobody.
Right.
And as happy as he was,
right.
From Robin Williams to Philip Seymour Hoffman to so many people playing in these avatars. Avatar meaning the body that they don't want to be in.
Right.
And their scapegoat is I mean, their escape is suicide, and that's a tough situation, because I'm not saying I've been there and where I'm going to say I'm going to kill myself, but I've been to the point where I've felt so broken,
so defeated.
I've felt so defeated, right? Yeah. And you know, you got to be careful who you're around too, because some people love that life, right? They're energy vampires. So they grow up with toxicity. They grow up with uncomfortable. They're okay with uncomfortable. And you know, that's not who I am. So I try to keep my peace, right? So you know, I'll sacrifice my son's birthday. I'll sacrifice this. I'll sacrifice Christmas. I will sacrifice certain things so I can keep my spirit clean. And then I'll see you another time, right? So, but it doesn't mean that I don't love them, but I do love myself first, right? So you can understand how to love you. You'll see it through me.
Thank you for that confirmation. Because sometimes when I have that same rationale, and I tend to think, damn, am I being selfish? You know, am I being some kind of way? No. You know, but I try to, you got to maintain your peace. Yourself. Protect your peace.
Please.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you.
And what is that a message that you would give, you know, as we close? Is that a message that you would give to anyone struggling with, you know, depression, with, you know, because I tell people try to understand depression. I understand depression because I've dealt with it most of my life. And I tell people, you know, suicide happens when the coping mechanisms fail, you know, and it's a permanent, you know, solution to temporary problems, you know, but it's when all hope, you can't find a sliver of hope to hang on to, you know. What would you tell people, you know, right now struggling, you know?
Yeah, it's very tricky, because when you said coping mechanisms, I've learned coping mechanisms at a very young age. So I think, you know, especially for younger people, learn and put yourself in uncomfortable positions at a young age. So when you're starting to get older, life is a difficult place to live. So when you get older, being comfortable in the uncomfortable is your best. That's one of the best things that you can do. So, you know, me challenging my son, you know, and whether it's basketball or academics or whatever it is, he's uncomfortable. Or my daughter, it was when she was crying the other day, it was because we were learning our multiplication, right? So I'm like, you're crying, why? So I had to ask her, why are you crying? To manipulate so I can stop? Right. Because nothing is broken and nothing hurt, you know what I mean? Or no one died. So but, you know, I think also too is speaking to people. Going riding bikes, exercising, right? Because scientifically, it helps you kind of boost your I don't know what dopamines, whatever it is, but it boosts these things up to help you, right? Walking,
so refrain from being isolated and being stuck with your own
because see, that's the worst. You know, idle time is devil's playground, especially when you're by yourself. So try to get out and walk, try to go exercise, try to write in your journal, try to speak to other individuals, right? And you know, I think that helps. And you know, because to each his own. Some people do things differently, right? Some people want to paint. Some people want to go play tennis.
Just find an outlet, basically.
Find an outlet, exactly.
Okay. Well, man, listen, brother. You know, we appreciate you coming. You know what I mean?
Thanks for having
me. Man, this was a great exchange. You know, man, you inspire me. Usually I'm the person that does the inspiring. Thanks. You inspire me, brother.
I appreciate you.
I watch you and I pay attention. And it's so funny because, you know, we go to the same gym. And I remember the first time I seen you in there. And I was like, damn, I know that face though. You know what I mean?
That great face.
Yeah, I know that face.
That
you know,
face.
He don't watch sports for shit.
Yeah, but I knew the face though. I was like,
I come in and talk about sports. He's like, I don't.
Yeah, and I ironically, I played sports and I boxed and did martial arts, but I just never watched it and kept up with it. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming. You got a great message, brother.
Appreciate you.
And please keep preaching that.
Yes, sir.
You know, please keep enlightening. You know, enlightening people and all of that. So, man, thank you for coming. And listen, I need to come on the show, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a lot to offer.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you a hoodie too.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Both of you, I'm gonna get you guys.
Yeah, that'll be dope.
Hoodies,
that'll be dope.
For sure, definitely.
Dad's point of view. So,
Yeah,
so, man, Cuttino Mobley, producer Ken. I should say Cat Daddy. You know what I mean?
Daddy.
Yeah, the big court, man. We signing off. Appreciate you, brother.
Freeze.
All right, right on.
When I was down, karma's on the way. What goes around comes around. Karma's on the way. There's nothing you could do now. You gotta pay.